Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and today on Mythic Gaming, I'm honored to be with Tim Espy and Zack McAtee, our Mythic game experts. Greetings and welcome, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing well yourself.
I'm doing great. How about you, Tim?
Hello, doing well as well. Very busy,
That's good.
but we're doing well.
So I guess we'll start at the top. What is the
How,
busy in level one games?
yeah, so there's quite a bit to fill you in on. So I'm trying to think. Last time you were there was probably what, like 4 weeks ago, maybe.
Around, yes.
Um, so we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary this month.
Happy anniversary.
More specific. Thank you very much. More specifically, it's actually Memorial Day, or yeah, it's Memorial Day Monday, so Memorial Day specifically. Um, so so we just signed another lease for another 5 years at our current location. Um, so that's been brewing for a little bit longer than it should have been, but that's okay. We got there eventually. Um, but yeah, so we're going to be another 5 year lease and at our current location. So that was pretty exciting. I don't think that's new, so I don't think you knew that either.
I didn't know that. But that is fantastic. I must have started coming to you when you first opened then, because I've known you for at least a decade.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. It had to be 2016 or so. Crazy how time, right?
Yeah, time flies. And I've watched the show grow and develop some more and uh, evolve, and it's very satisfying. And I've said this like a million times, and I'll say it a million more. I'm very impressed on how you wove together a close-knit community, including other merchants. So that's amazing that you're able to do that.
Yeah, it's been real fun, especially the past few years, like really branching out, and even more specifically the past year or so, really branching out and dealing with, our our stores that are, they're not rival stores, but our friend stores that are close by, or really working together with them. Like, like we did with our friend store. His name is also Tim. He's up in Andover, and we did our back-to-back Pokemon tournaments together where you got our cool shirts and stuff. I talked about that last time. So I'm actually going to see him tomorrow to go pick up the other shirts that we had made. So we're gonna be up visiting him tomorrow. So it's funny that we're talking about it.
Fantastic. And the next time I come over, which should be in another 3 or 4 weeks, since I might have some Sega Genesis and Nintendo 64 and other that generation of games.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that'll be fun. I have a nice little shelf downstairs with my gaming accessories of the books and tomes that that you've been bringing.
Oh, I'm really honored.
Yeah, it's fun. I want to be the curator of the books for the time being, at least.
So what has been coming out recently? You got so many new things in your store. I was amazed last time I came over. What is new in, I guess we'll start with video games, since that's how the store launched into existence.
Yeah, so actually, what I've been playing, I was just playing it just before. So there's a series that's been going on. We're on, this is number six that I've been playing. It's like a more arcade racing game called Forza Horizon. It's an offshoot of Forza Motorsport is like the base game. It's the sim racing, you know, flagship for the Xbox console. So it's Microsoft Game Studios and Turn 10, I think is the name of the developer. Um, So back in the day, do you remember Gran Turismo for Sony PlayStation?
Yes.
Um, so that was the more like simulation. It was meant to be more like real racing. So Forza Motorsport was the competitor to that. Um, but while they were making that, they also came out with Forza Horizon, which is a more like arcade version. So you're speaking of Nintendo 64. If you remember like Cruisin' USA and Cruisin' World and Cruisin' Exotica.
I didn't play them, but I remember them coming out. I remember them being advertised.
Yeah. So, it's more you know, realistic fantasy, where, you're driving really fast, like you can drive like a Lamborghini on the dirt, not off road and everything. So it's meant to be um, more arcade and just silly and slapstick over more simulation. Um, but so with Horizon 6, finally what everybody has been waiting for is that the setting is in Japan. So what the Horizon series is known for is like very, very, very detailed maps. Like they send a whole team out to go map and take pictures and everything of the settings that they're doing for the specific games. Um, so it's been really fun just driving around in a super realistic Japanese is Tokyo, and it's the mountains and everything. So they got a bunch of different settings and um, the seasons go through. So right now I'm in spring, but I just unlocked the winter aspect, so that'll be fun. But yeah, it's been fun playing something. I haven't played a racing game in quite a while since Horizon 5 probably, which has been years now. Um, so it's been fun playing something a little bit different.
Yeah, I haven't played any game in quite a while, and as I'm looking for things, I'm getting nostalgic for Diablo, EverQuest, and games like that, Champions of Norath, and the other games where you have like an up to the side view.
Yeah, yep. Like the 2.5D.
Yeah, so I'm beginning to try one or two of those again, and I've been reluctant to put them in the bring over to Tim's file.
Mm. They just came out with a new Diablo 4 expansion, I believe. I'm not too familiar. I played the base game of 4 for a little bit, but didn't hold my attention as much as the previous one. Still fun, and Diablo is always going to be Diablo, so it's great. But um, yeah, the new expansion, it seems to be pretty popular from what I have understanding.
Yeah, I got mad at Diablo, and even though I had Diablo 3 or had Diablo 3, I stopped playing at Diablo 2 because I used to enjoy playing Diablo 2 on my computer. And then one time I signed into it and I couldn't enter it after that. They changed the terms of the agreement so that you had to go through the site, pay more money.
Yep.
So I had some choice words to say about that.
Um, but outside of that, this Nintendo Switch 2 has been pretty popular with some of the games they've been coming out. Zach, have you picked up a Switch 2 yet?
No.
Okay. So there's a new game that came out for the Switch 2 specifically. What didn't come out on Switch 1. It's called Pokopia. So it's a new Pokemon game, but not a new like mainline RPG Pokemon game. Um, the it's in typical Pokemon fashion. It's very silly and quirky and it's pretty interesting. Um, but the closest comparison, um, Hercules. Did you have a GameCube back when they were out?
So I might still have my GameCube somewhere.
Okay.
And it had
Um,
the smaller systems. I think I had the one for uh, Sega made like a handheld system, and
yeah.
a couple of different Nintendo ones. And I haven't found them yet, but they're somewhere here.
Uh, um, so there was a game that originally came out for GameCube called Animal Crossing. Um, the newest one is Animal Crossing New Horizons. It came out during COVID, actually, so it was very popular, as you can imagine. Um, but it's like a life simulation game. You move to an island and you have to make a farm and make friends and become friends with the villagers and everything. Um, it's my girlfriend's favorite game, probably, I would say. Um, but what Pokopia is basically kind of Animal Crossing plus Pokemon plus Minecraft, all in one game where you play as Ditto, who is a Pokemon that can be a copy of pretty much any Pokemon. I think it'd be any Pokemon, I would assume, right, Zach?
Say again?
Ditto could be a copy of any Pokemon.
Yeah.
Um, so the basic gameplay loop is you play as Ditto and you fix habitats where certain Pokemon would like to live. So if there's a graveler that you want to live with you, you build like a mountainside with rocks and everything. And then once you do, you can then take some of their powers. So once you become a graveler, then you can dig into the mountain, so you could continue and spiral all the way down until you can, until the whole point is collecting all the Pokemon, of course. So, you need to collect some of the Pokemon to unlock the further Pokemon and everything, but while also building your town like in Animal Crossing. And there's some crafting elements like Minecraft. So, I've been watching Claudia, my girlfriend, play, and it's been really quirky and fun. So that one was very, very popular. It was out of stock at the store for a while. We finally just got more copies in and everything. So that was a hit for them. Have you seen anything about it, Zach? Or
Yeah, I've seen a little bit, and a bunch of my friends in like my Pokemon thing online have been playing it. Uh, but I haven't obviously I don't have a Switch 2, so
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely a Switch 2 seller if you like that kind of game. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what we've been playing. Oh wait, no, sorry, I forgot. Um, I know I've talked about it in the past because it's definitely the top three games for me. But the Slay the Spire, I've talked about in the past.
Mhm.
Um, Slay the Spire 2 finally came out on early access, which is it's still a full game. They're adding more and everything, but um, it is really one of the best games possibly ever made. um, so I've been having a lot of fun with that. There's there's two new characters right now and three returning characters. Um, there's one character that's missing from Slay the Spire 1, which I'm not sure if they're gonna put into Slay the Spire 2 or not. Because she's known as being a super strong character. So the Watcher is her name. But yeah, so I don't think there's any I haven't seen anything about her getting possibly put into the game. But yeah, so Slay the Spire 2 is just Slay the Spire 1, but improved with new mechanics and new cards and new enemies and different ways that the bosses spawn. So it's been really fun, and then a lot of the YouTube content I've been consuming online is just people playing Slay the Spire too. Um, so that's been kind of all consuming as well. But Zach, if you haven't played Slay the Spire 1, Slay the Spire 2 is a great jumping in point. It's the perfect, deck building rogue like game.
yeah, I think weren't they like the first big one?
It it was the first big one, most definitely. I'm hard. I don't know if it was. I would say the first deck building like that. But definitely the one that made it and made all of the tropes and kind of what everything is based off of now when
Yeah.
it comes to those kind of games. So I was really nervous to see like how could they not just be like an iterative, thing, but but it is blown away. Like there's almost no reason to play Slay the Spire 1 anymore. The only real reason is because Slay the Spire 2 isn't on like mobile, like phone or iPad or anything yet.
Yeah.
Um, but but yeah, so it's so good.
Zach, do you have any games that you've been playing or you've come across that you'd like to share?
Let's see, video games. Don't think I've been playing much new lately, but I was excited that so I think it was last year they released a beat 'em up called Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which was made by the same team that did the really good Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat 'em up a few years ago. And they
Shredder's Revenge.
yes.
Nice.
And then they just dropped the first DLC for that yesterday, which added two new characters, one of which is one of my favorite Marvel characters. So I was particularly excited about that. I bought it immediately and already max leveled the character.
Who are the characters?
The one I like that they added is Cyclops, who's been having like a kind of renaissance lately. He's been getting a lot of cool representation in like shows and video games and stuff.
Nice. Who's the other? Who's the other
Uh,
one?
the other one in the DLC was The Thing.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
but the game itself is actually it's a lot of fun. I hate to say, but I do like Shredder's Revenge more because Shredder's Revenge was a bit faster.
Hmm.
Cosmic Invasion feels like movement's a little bit chunkier. Shredder's Revenge had this thing where, okay, if you get hit, if you press the jump button, like when you hit the ground, you get up quicker, like you roll out of it. They
Mhm.
don't have that in this one. So it like when you get knocked down, it like takes a few seconds to get back up. But that's basically the only complaint with it. Like the character roster is really fun and varied. They've got a lot of deep cuts. My favorite Marvel character, Beta Ray Bill, is in the game instead of Thor.
Wow.
Um, Overall, it's a very fun game if you like beat 'em ups.
And is this
Can you
available?
play as Beta Ray Bill?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He's one of
wow.
the base game characters.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, that was my reaction when the original trailer came out. I could not believe that they were putting him in something instead of Thor. Um, and then I think Steve Blum voices him, does a really good job, and his move set is really fun. He's got this thing where like he's got this hammer, right? So
Mhm.
you can throw the hammer, but if you hold the button when you do it, it'll stay spinning at a distance. And then if you use your charge attack that summons lightning, it will summon lightning on you and the hammer. So you can do it on like two different parts of the screen if you like plan things right. Like uh
Nice.
he's very slow because he's a very bulky character, but he's got a lot of fun move synergies and stuff.
Hmm.
Is it
Yeah.
streaming or console game?
I believe it's on everything, I think. I've gotten it on Switch, but I'm pretty sure it's released on all consoles and PC as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
Um,
definitely seen it on like the Steam like sale ticker.
Yeah, and Cyclops was a very pleasant surprise because they also just like I don't play Marvel Rivals, but they just dropped a trailer that he's being added to that, and the trailer was extremely cool. And he's been one of my favorite Marvel characters since I was a kid, and he's always like people are like he's the stick in the mud, he's boring, he just shoots laser beams, blah blah blah. Like, but like in the comics, he's like a really good character, and it's nice to see him kind of finally getting his dues.
I believe it's going to be in the movies as well that are coming up. They're starting to integrate the X-Men.
Yeah, they there was like a leaked trailer that showed him in the upcoming one that I think is this December.
Since we're talking about superheroes, has anybody done a video game or a computer game or a streaming game on The Boys?
I don't think so yet. Kind of surprised actually, now that I think about it.
Is that like a film noir kind of?
No, it's kind of like a deconstruction of the superhero myth, and it shows superheroes as corrupt and villainous, rather than heroic for the most part. And it has the propaganda about the heroes, the superheroes, like the Seven, created by a Disney type organization. It's like creating the adventures for public consumption, whereas the reality is actually quite different.
Huh.
Very interesting take on superheroes.
Oh, it's interesting. Yeah.
It,
I would assume it started as comics.
yeah, Garth Ennis, I think, who is known for writing what people would say is like edgy material. Um,
Hmm.
and this definitely falls in line with that. It's the examination of okay, if power corrupts, superpowers super corrupt. So like all the superheroes are generally just like terrible, terrible people because who's going to tell them no?
Huh. So is this almost like it seems adjacent to the boys? I guess it feels like the boys is pulling
Uh,
something from that.
that's what we're talking about is the boys. Yeah.
Oh, I heard the void. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I know the boys then.
I was very surprised when you initially said
Yeah.
you didn't.
And then the last episode is tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't kept up with that. I've watched the first couple seasons. It was actually one of the only recent shows where I actually kept up with it for a good amount of seasons. But I forget what happened. I think maybe we stopped having Prime for a little bit or something. But oh, I heard The Void and I was like, oh, maybe it's like film noir or something.
Gotcha, gotcha.
But yes,
Spider-Man,
yeah, The Boys, of course. Yes.
there's a Spider-Man coming out. That's big.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that they came out with action figures for it, but and I'm sure they have Funkos for it too. But
Yeah.
I didn't see any video games. I was very surprised, or board games, or role-playing games, or anything. It's-
I would not be surprised if a role-playing game comes down the pipe sometime soon. Now that the
Yeah.
show's finally like ending. Um,
And
I'm
they
sure that,
Yeah.
they have Diabolique or Diabolical. They had some spin-offs, and they're doing a prologue to it now,
yeah.
and that's coming out soon. Void Rising, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's like about how the company kind of took over the superhero landscape.
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot that they can do with a lot of that. With Voight and with even with just the characters' backstories, like they explored with a little bit, with when I was watching, it was Soldier Boy is the dude's name.
Yeah.
When they did a little bit of the history of them, which was interesting. Um, but yeah, no, the show's been fun. So, have you been keeping up with it, Hercules?
yeah. I've been keeping up. The team and I both love it, so it's one of the shows we watch when it airs. A lot of stuff will wait even seasons after it's finished and catch up
Yeah.
with. The Boys are one of the shows we've been following, and
Um,
forward to tomorrow night. We're looking forward to the prequel. And there was rumor of them continue with the Gen V, a third season, but then they canceled that. And then it was word that they were doing The Boys Mexico.
Mm.
Then that too, its status is unknown. So I don't know what they're doing with the franchise. They
hmm,
said something very confusing. They said something that Amazon wouldn't renew it because audiences got confused when Dexter had two simultaneous shows going on about Dexter. Even though it was
Mm.
different actors and Dexter was different ages, people couldn't place where the stories were taking place, which I consider very bizarre. Because I remember when Hercules and Xena played, you had Hercules, you had a young Hercules with Xena, you had a cartoon, and
yeah.
Yeah.
we seem to be having trouble keeping track of what belonged in each show. So I was very surprised that they would use that as an excuse for not having more than one boys show on at the same time.
Especially because even in recent years, that's been a thing. After The Walking Dead got really successful with the first couple seasons, they added a second show called Fear the Walking Dead, which
Yes,
was kind of a prequel, and both of those ran concurrently.
yes, I guess the world is changing. How about
So you've been liking the new season then, I guess, if you've been keeping up on it.
yeah, yeah. I've been watching a lot of videos too on YouTube. A lot of people complain too much. Fandom has become toxic. And
Yeah.
I liked everything I've seen so far. I liked a lot of the Marvel movies people hated. I liked a lot of the Marvel TV shows people hated. Uh, I don't have very high expectations going in. I just want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You-
I'm not expecting, the craziest best thing. I just want to be just want to be entertained for a little bit.
So it's kind of troublesome when I saw something. It's like, that's great, I love that. And then people are tearing it apart and complaining as if crimes have been committed too.
Um, speaking of movies and things related, there's a movie coming out that is really, it's the only movie that I've been telling people that is like I've wanted to see in theaters. You know, like the only movie that probably in the past like 5 years or 10 years even or something. And Zach, I'm sure you're familiar, but with Back Rooms.
Yeah, yeah.
Hercules, have you seen anything about this or know anything about it?
Now I'm curious to find out more though.
Okay. So it's the movie is called Back Rooms. And Zach, you'll have to help me with the lore a little bit. But so the original thing.
Hello, Tim. We seem to have lost you.
And it was just a picture of it was a furniture store that was getting like renovated or something. And it was meant to be in like I think it was just a creepy pasta thread. And I forget exactly what the subtitle was, but basically it's like, you know, uh back rooms that just go on forever and ever and ever, and you get lost in this big labyrinth cave of things that get twisted and rooms that look weird and stuff. So that's all it was. It was just a single image post and so, like a paragraph text, and that was it. And I don't know how quickly after, but his name online is Kane Pixels is the guy's name, but Kane Parsons is his real name, or what he wants to go by, I guess. I think it's his real name. But he made a YouTube series called The Backrooms, and he used Blender and CGI and some real footage and made like a horror series based on the Backrooms, with lore and his own story, and he added to it. And you know, of course, there's corporations and you know evil things going on and everything. And it's been very popular online for the past 5 years. I think 2021 maybe was when he started. Um, and so it got super popular online. And then, sure enough, I think it's A24 approached Kane and said, "Hey, do you want to make a movie?" And he said, "Sure, as long as I can do what I want." And they said, "Sure, you can do whatever you want." And so he's been making the movie, and it's finally coming out at the end of May.
Oh,
Um, but just the imagery and everything for it is just exactly what I like. If you're familiar with the term liminal space, have
yes.
you? Yeah, so this is liminal space, the movie, basically. So that's what the back rooms looks like. It's all, you know, it's very 90s esque, and you know, high strangeness and just creepy and liminal. So I'm very, very, very excited to see it in theaters, on the big screen, because I think it'll be really cool to see something like that. Um, the cast is actually quite large. Of course, I'm not great with actors and everything, but you know, I tried not to watch too much, but I watched one of the trailers and I was like, oh, it's that guy. Again, I'm not great with actors, but
Neither
um,
fine.
um, but the trailer looked great, and like I said, Kane had full you know, kind of autonomy to do what he wanted to do. So there's, you know, great homages to stuff that the very, very original thing. You know, of course, there's a shot in the trailer that is basically a one-to-one recreation of the picture that started it all. Um, but uh, but yeah, so I'm super excited. Zach, are you interested in seeing that in theaters or?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know as much about like the online lore. Like I never followed the YouTube series and stuff.
mhm.
But I remember like seeing it when it started as the image and everything, and then like it's become this huge thing that everybody online like makes art and contributes to and stuff.
I think I've seen a YouTube video about this because a lot of what you were describing seemed familiar to me. So I think I might have clicked on a video about it.
Yeah, there's a million, YouTube essays and stuff breaking down, every little detail of stuff of Kane's videos and everything. Because it's all it's not like an ARG per se, but there is stuff that is connected outside of, you know, the YouTube videos. Calls to certain things and, you know, even calls to old literature and stuff. So it's Kane seems to be super smart and he's super super young. I think too. I don't think he's in his 20s. Um, so so it's a pretty cool story. Just from being a teenager, I think. Making YouTube videos, and now it's like, all right, here's your Hollywood movie, kid. Here you go. And seems to be really cool. So I'm excited.
I'm gonna look that up after we finish tonight. Check it out.
Yeah, I love the imagery and everything. That's like exactly, part of an aesthetic that I like.
I think it came to my attention because I work with my dreams and meditate. I meditate a few times a day, so I like working with altered states, naturally. And I think somebody told me about the game, and so I looked it up, and I saw some images, and I thought that looked interesting.
Yes, yeah. So there is, I forget what it's called. It might just be called Liminal Space or something. But it's a game on PC and stuff. I don't think it's on Xbox or anything. But it's basically a walking simulator, but it's walking through liminal spaces, pools that look crazy with stairs that go to nowhere, MC Escher kind of things. Um, so yeah, no, I'm excited.
Talking about Escher, you and I have been watching the Alien series from the beginning.
Ah,
Escher-esque type of and Geiger-esque art.
yeah, yeah. Super brutal art. I love it.
There was a really good video game based off of the backroom stuff called Superliminal, where the game itself is coached as if it's a kind of guided hypnosis therapy. And you're like walking through areas in your mind and solving puzzles, and all the puzzles involve forced perspective. So they do this thing where like maybe there's a tiny like building block, like a kid's building block on a table. And then you pick it up. And then when you're holding it, if you back up and then let go so that it looks larger than the table because it's further away from the table and it's closer to you, as soon as you let go, it becomes that relative size. And so there's all this. It was really, really fun. They did it really well. And they're actually making a horror version of it. It's coming out, I think, this year or next year. And like they released a demo where this one's the liminal space is like a kid's play park where you like crawl through the tunnels. And then like a water park, like an indoor water park with nobody else there.
Yeah.
Like,
I just
Very
love that atmosphere. It's such a creepy atmosphere, and it's an obtainable. I'm using quotations like an obtainable feeling. Like you can go to your office, at an off time and be like, oh wow, this is quiet and still, and
That would make an interesting role-playing game. Do I imagine?
right.
Pick up the Lego. Now it's your size or bigger. Talking about role-playing games, any interesting role-playing games people have been playing?
Yeah, so like that's I've been what I've been looking forward to. I've been waiting to hear what new stuff, Zach, because I haven't been updated as to what's been going on with some of the games.
so this past Sunday, actually, we had the culmination of 5-ish years of the first arc of our Pokemon game come to a close. So we had both parties uniting to fight off Jormungandr, who is, as I depicted him, was a double-headed like serpent, so big that he stretched beneath the continent and he had one head on either coast. So, each of the two parties were on the opposite coast to fight it. So what I did was I arranged for it to be one big online session, whereas usually one of the parties is in person. We did it with everybody online. I made three separate voice channels in Discord, one for each coast, and then one for when I needed to talk to all of them together. And they had this item. I'd given them an arm ring in a previous like big boss fight thing, uh, that at its base level would allow you to like swap places with the person wearing the other one if they're within like 20 feet. Um, and so for this fight, the arm rings got boosted by Hugin and Munin, who fused to them, and then it like unlocked a suite of abilities that would let them send someone from one party to swap with the other party, to swap back and forth between the coasts, to coordinate typing between them because the different sides they were fighting different types. At one point in the final phase, they had to being bring both heads to 0 HP in the same round. But the whole caveat is that because they are on opposite ends of the coast, there is no communication, there is no crosstalk. That's why they're in separate voice channels. The only way they can communicate and strategize is by sending people back and forth like that strategically. So it was very fun and frantic. Very cathartic and emotional. We had this great moment where they finished phase one pretty handily, and then phase two is when Jormungandr called in kind of the larger scale human enemies that they'd been dealing with, who had recently made like a quote unquote deal with the devil with Jormungandr to become conduits of his power. So then they're fighting one of Jormungandr's heads plus this person who's been boosted by him, which did not go well for them. And so I had spent hours uh, going through all of the past session notes for the past 5 years and finding every single NPC that the party had interacted with in some meaningful way, whether that was they had an impact on the character. So like there was a bandit that they gave a second chance and now he became like an honest living guy and everything, and they've met him again, or like previous gym leaders that they like worked together with to fight other problems. And so I got this huge list together of like 30 something different characters. The VTT I use is called Albert Rodeo. And so in Albert Rodeo, I like had all those tokens hidden, invisible to the players. Um, they were losing quite badly in phase two. And so then I told everybody to get into the voice chat where like I could talk to everyone. And started giving the spiel about how like this is too much, like yes, there's like 7 8 of you whatever, but like you're still mortals, you can't hope to take down a god alone, it's just not possible. And I just let it sit there in silence and then queued up a music track that I had like specifically sought out for this moment, this like really hopeful inspiring thing from one of my favorite Castlevania games, and narrated how all of their allies started showing up. Like some of them who don't fight with Pokemon, they came with a bunch of healing items to help them. Some of them came to help fight like the humans. Some of them who had boats or other things were on the water to help fight the heads. And it was like JB said it was like a big Avengers Endgame like type moment, where we like called back 5 years of characters and stuff that showed up. Um, it was it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and got me surprisingly emotional. Like even though the game's not over, but like seeing like that chapter close, it was hit me more than I thought it would.
Wow, that's awesome.
Big climactic, not ending, you said, right? Because that's not the end of the story. It's just first big
Yeah.
boss, or
So the way that I structured the campaign is there's a few arcs. There's only like 4 or 5 arcs, right? And at this point, we're like 50 sessions in plus for both parties. But this has all been arc one because the way I explained it to them is arc one is for you guys to spend time exploring the continent, getting to know its places, getting to know its people, so that you're invested when like the future arcs start hitting and bad things start happening. And so this was like the big culmination of
Cool.
all of
Okay.
that, of like all the different allies they'd met, all the evils they'd been dealing with and everything. And this was kind of the cork in the champagne bottle. And so from here, the bad events are going
Huh.
to be starting to occur much more rapidly. Because this was kind of like the herald of Ragnarok, and things are going to go downhill very fast.
Huh. So they have the whole map unlocked, if you will.
Yes, and it's actually they never actually tested it, but so the country is based off Norway, and I kind of split it in half, roughly horizontally in the middle, to like a north and a south half. So they've been in the southern half, which is the much larger portion of the country. And if they had tried to move to the northern one, that was actually a trigger for this fight that they just never tried. And so it
Hmm.
just like narratively, we just built to a point where it all kind of made sense for this to happen. Like the one party had just sort of resolved one of their player characters' big backstory elements that was a huge like thing looming over them. And so like tying the bad guy from their backstory into this like just made sense with everything. The other party had just met another terrible person. So like it just kind of felt like the right time. Um, and so I'm excited to see where they're going to go from here.
I'm sure you have some stuff planned out. So like can you give some inkling?
Yeah, so give me one second. Let me pull up. So I maintain it's a whole Discord server of like I go into way too much effort and detail and stuff, but like there's a channel devoted to quote unquote the rune stone, which is just this like terrible pixel art thing I made to look like the ancient Norse standing stones, the gray ones with like the red on them, like the curling dragons and the runes and stuff. And that's got the words that are associated with the different arcs on them. And so the words are the seas, the pyres, the ice, the trees, the maggot, and maw. And so they just finished the seas. And up until this point, they thought it was a kind of thing where each arc was a standalone thing. That is not the case. So they both activated the pyres and the ice, which is a problem for each party. Like the pyres is one party, the ice is the other party.
Mm.
Um, they don't know much about the ice yet, so I don't want to say anything in case any of them are listening, but they have a
Yep.
good idea of the pyres. So in ancient Norse mythology, there is a fire giant named Surtur. He is the like leader of the fire giants, kind of like their version of Odin, and he is prophesied to eventually be the one to destroy Asgard completely. Um, and so in this lore, the Asgardians sealed them away in a volcano to hopefully prevent that. Um, and he's been slowly but surely, like he hasn't been able to get out yet, but he's been like testing the limits, and he like found out that he could put his power out into the world and imbue it into someone. And then when that person died, the power came back like twofold because of all their life experience. And so he's been slowly corrupting outwards from the volcano, turning more people into his thralls, getting stronger to the point where hopefully he can break out of the volcano. Um, and as part of that, his emergence, because he's kind of a herald of war, has been leading to increased tensions on the continent. So the pyres are not in a literal sense, it's that the fires of war are being lit, and various towns that they have become attached to, that they have friends in, are now getting to the point where they're about to start going to war to each other in old Norway. So like, you can imagine what that war is going to look like when you add in Pokemon. Um, but so like the one party is going to be trying to deal with Surtur in some capacity, uh, which they were going to do anyway because their favorite NPC is a soldier from the outpost on the island that like protects against the volcano, who had been extremely injured in a battle. He has a permanent limp. He's covered in burn scars on his back and his legs, and he was like discharged because he can't perform as a soldier anymore. And so for a while he was like he had PTSD flashbacks whenever they were around fire or anything similar that would remind him of the incident. And they put in a lot of work to bond with him and help him overcome things. He recently just we had, after 30 something sessions of pining and almost doing it back and forth, we finally had him kiss the party member that had been like growing closer and closer to him. Um, but so they recently figured out that his powers were activated when Surtur didn't kill him and instead put some of Surtur's power in him. That's all well and good, whatever. But when they just fought Jormungandr, and they fought the two people who had bonded with Jormungandr and become conduits for his power, which is exactly what this guy is for Surtur, even though it was unwilling. The only way to kill Jormungandr was if all of his conduits were dead first.
Uh-huh.
So they just had the first kiss with this guy, and then this last session just put two and two together and realized, oh my God, he's a conduit to Surtur. What are we going to do?
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
Um,
Novelizing these notes?
am I what?
Have you ever thought of novelizing these notes? Your
I think the problem is that Pokemon is very litigious.
Yeah.
it doesn't have,
Mhm.
doesn't have to be Pokemon in your novel. It could be something else, something evocative of Pokemon, but not exactly Pokemon.
Yeah, and it's maybe when it's finished, because like what I do now is I don't take notes during the sessions, but then at some point before the next session, I sit down and I basically like write it up almost as a short story that can range anywhere from like 2 to 30 pages. So so I've got like, yeah, at this point between my 3 campaigns I do that for, I've got like I think almost 200 something different like posts of session notes that
Wow.
so I have this idea of like somehow when it's done, maybe like getting them published in like a bound book or something, like just for me, just getting them put together in like a hardback.
I think other people, because you tell good stories and they're very intricate and involved and unfold at various rates, the different threads, and they're full of suspense. So I think other people would enjoy them as well.
I've thought about potentially doing the like the streaming like Let's Play type of thing, but I feel like especially starting this late into the story, starting over 60 sessions into a story, probably not even worth considering.
It
Oh,
would be starting a new thing, and then when that takes off, it's like, okay, we're also have been doing this. Check it out. This is the
Yeah,
Cliff
yeah.
Notes. This is the Cliff Notes. Here you go. Okay, session 60. Boom.
Yeah, and it's the I'm lucky that I have very good and involved players with these with the Pokemon games. Um, Two of them in particular are like huge into like the fanfic realm and everything. So they're like, hey, can we do like a play by post thread of RP with this character in the Discord server? Like maybe sometimes I will ping people with that. So like usually after a crossover, I will make threads and like ping people. So I did a bunch of that today, where all the NPCs that came to help, like some of them started threads with different people, and everybody really buys in, which is, I think, all you can hope for as a DM.
I've never
I'm
tried.
sure it makes it.
Uh,
Yeah.
it
Go ahead.
just go ahead, Tim.
So I was gonna say, it just makes it super rewarding. Having people that invested in it. It makes the time worth it.
Yeah.
And it expands the story, and invests people and gets the other people into it too. Who are the two specifically that you're saying with the fanfic?
Brandy and Sammy. I know you met Brandy, like I know you've talked to Brandy. I can't remember if I think you talked to Sammy briefly when we were like planning outfits for the wedding. I think she hopped on a voice call to like help us pick out stuff. Um,
Okay.
And so like it's the Brandy's character Sylvie is the one that just got in a relationship with the NPC who they found out as a conduit to Surtur. And that's been like a will they won't they for at this point probably 4 years,
What Pokemon does she use?
So I made my own Pokedex for Vanicrom that has I think at this point 69, 69 Pokemon counting the legendaries. And so the starters that I came up with, because I was trying to base it off of Norway, so I was looking at
Yep.
animals that live in Norway. So she went with the grass starter because in real life she loves ferrets and weasels. Ferrets are her favorite animal. She used to have a ton of them as pets, and the grass starter starts as an ermine, turns into a mink, and then turns into a badger. So he's like he goes up the mustard chain. And so he starts as grass type, and he's like a little ermine that has leaves starting on his nose and then like going down his spine to the end of his tail, which has a bunch of leaves on it. And then he evolves and he's starting to grow like tree bark on part of him as like armor, like some of the leaves are hardening. Um, and he becomes obsessed with collecting shiny things, which in old Norway, where you're going to get most of the shiny things is on the like battlefield. So they like scrounge around scraps of weapons and armor and line their dens with it. So that then when they reach their final stage, they incorporate that stuff into their skin and become grass steel. And then he's much bigger. He's got little like horns on his ears. His tail at this point is now huge and covered in bark and like is used as a shield, like is shaped like a shield. Um, and so she went with that one as her starter. And then Lauren, the other character, picked Natu, which is one of my favorite birds from the Pokemon
Hmm.
franchise, which recently evolved in the first time I've had a non-combat evolution happen.
Huh. And how did it?
As a, I don't want to eat up all the time. Like I can
Yeah.
continue. I just want to double check that it's okay. Like I know I've been
Yeah.
talking for a while.
You
No,
got
no.
around five, you
That,
got
that,
around 5 more minutes, so use it any way you like.
yeah.
Uh,
No, like I said, I've been looking forward to hearing what's been going on. So,
So Lauren in particular is I would say, very haunted character. Their backstory involved them getting stuck with these prophetic visions, these nightmares that started happening when they were like 12, 13 years old. The same dream every night, horrifying in detail. It's really skewed how they grew up. They are withdrawn, but in that way where they try to look after everyone else's needs so they can avoid looking at their own. Um, a very conflicted person who has very low self-esteem and always blames himself for people getting hurt around them, even if like realistically, like they couldn't be blamed for it, but they're blaming themselves. Um, and so there was a point where some particularly traumatic stuff was happening to the group. They were having a rough time. And for the first time in at that point, like 4.5 years, Lauren put their starter in the PC box because it's psychic, and they didn't want it having to feel all the bad things they were feeling. Um, and we previously established that their starter, even though it's literally like a little tiny 1 foot tall round bird, looks as itself as protecting Lauren, as kind of like itself as the big brother, I guess is a good way to put it. Um, and so a bunch more things happened. Eventually, Lauren kind of had a big breakdown, kind of came to their senses a bit, and they went and got their Pokemon out in an emergency to help save their friends because they had a type advantage with the bird. And he's like, "Look, I know, like, we need to talk, but we need to save them first, like whatever." So they save them in the fight, and then while the rest of the party is, going around town and buying things or trading and doing things amongst themselves, Lauren just has this moment of sitting there and role playing with the bird about all the traumatic things that have been happening and why they put the bird in the box. And they promise they won't do it again and all this stuff, and they start breaking down and crying again. And so I described like Lauren was like laying on their cot and the little bird was like sitting on their chest. I described like reaches out with its stubby wings, like to almost as if to kind of like reach to wipe your tears away, and its wings start growing longer. And so that was the cue of it evolved specifically so it could have like the arms and everything to be able to hug and
Hmm.
comfort its trainer, as opposed to doing it like through battle and through trying to protect them physically. It was to try and protect them emotionally. Uh,
Huh.
And unfortunately, we've run out of time. I love
Nice.
your story too. How about next time we do a campaign special? We just deal with one of Zach's stories, and so he has enough time to tell it, and we can ask questions.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great. Like I said, I love getting the update. It's great. Just the stories are just so sick, dude. Like actually, it's awesome.
That's why I think you
Thank
should
you.
have one. So how can somebody get involved in your world, Zach?
So you can always find me on Facebook or send me an email at Mr. Moonin, MrMunnin @gmail.com.
Thank you very much. And Tim, Level 1 Games. How can one go there and what will they find once they're there?
Yep, you can find us on Facebook and on Instagram as well. I have been a little bit better about posting what we've been getting. But we got a bunch of tournaments and a bunch of events coming up. And like I said, it's our 10-year anniversary. So in typical level one games fashion, we're waiting till the last minute. But we'll be doing something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but we'll be doing something. But that'll be posted on Facebook and on Instagram.
Thank you. And next time you guys get together, take a picture together, and I'll use that occasionally as the icon for the show rather than Level 1 Games.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you so very much. I've missed you both, and I look forward to our next. In June, we're not going to do this. Is that correct, Tim?
Right. Yeah. Me and our mutual friend Brad are going to a concert down in Asbury. Just happens to
Nice.
be that Tuesday, which just worked out.
So we'll wait for July.
Yep.
And success with all of your endeavors. And Zach, really think about writing a book.
Thank you.
Because I've been published in over 20 paranormal anthologies already, the last one by a big publisher. So just started doing it because somebody suggested I do that. And now I published all that stuff. So do it once, and then before you know, you'll be doing it continuously. You're an excellent storyteller.
I appreciate that.
Floodgates open.
Hey, good night, and thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.